Indeed, I think yeah, very well put. And we're already seeing Annie kind of leading the charge here behind the toxic screen. Oh, it's devious stuff there. Will this work out? Oh, they're going to line up though, but Dodo not unable to find the angle that will help. And there's an opening towards this A side, but Katsumi gets that pick, and that is an enormous problem. Could have been a 3 versus 4, but instead it's a 2 versus 4.
And there's just so much Raze utility still left here for Jazz to help clear. Yep, the paint shells was in combination with the boom bot. And how about what, well, I mean, it's not going to read as a flawless round, but Katsumi going 1 for 1, it's exactly what you would ever ask for her to do on the B site. So in my mind, perfect opening defense for C9W.
On the little booth there with that Marshall.
This is a much more dangerous call, though, because you only found the 1 elimination of your TSM. So you're not, I love it. You're trying to keep your gameplay in accord here. You're trying to play with your tempo, your pacing, not go off the back foot early. And as Mel actually misses on the opening Marshall shot, that does allow TSM to move very quickly and rapidly to get in and get the opening plant here at B. And then look at where this Viper screen is defensively now all of a sudden for Leah to use. Right down to cut off heaven. This could be a very crucial position for TSM to isolate.
Yeah, they're looking to try to make their way forward now, but it's actually very difficult. That dark cover was providing quite an annoying obstacle, and Leopada able to find Katsumi kind of lurking there in the back. Nice shot coming through from Mel, but the trade's still there. The number's still there for TSM, and Cloud9 White with very little to work with at this point. Excellent stuff. 4 players alive for TSM, and it's very reminiscent
to establish some kind of dominance mentally in the chess game at the moment. So we'll see what happens this time around, as we're going to get kind of a, you know, weird situation economically for the next couple. And this time, as there's no defensive wall through mid, it's actually going to be the side of Cloud9 White trying to get aggressive over into B main. Nothing there, though, as Leah gets the opening double.
Indeed. Looking quite good here. 5 versus 3. So TSM able to get the spike planted as well with the site control that they have. Snake Bite will possibly delay things a moment longer, but it is futile. There goes the paint shells as well. Also, actually, some more delay coming through.
Yeah.
So again, just being very annoying at this point. They're able to deal with that though, off of the back of the paranoia, and all is good in one's respective hood.
Opener trying to work through the middle of the map. And how about this opening paranoia looking to get cast forward, but it's denied, at least initially, as Annie's able to find first blood, but cannot keep her life as the trade comes through.
Yeah, so the early control, and we've got the response in mid, the push there. Katsumi's gone beyond. Oh, this is a little bit awkward. It's gone beyond Dodo Nut there. And wow.
What?
It's completely missed each other as the ramp push gets cleaned up at the same time. So very difficult scenario here. Athena just looking for that damage. The kill will be fantastic. Just make as much as you can with this. 3 players left to go. A minute to work with as well, and might be able to get a 1v1.
Phantom was collected. The problem about this, you see where the spike is. There's no reason for Cloud9 White to go hunt out this kill. Just wait for the spike to be pushed upon. Shrouded step sound Q will be used as bait, and it actually works out for Athena to at least tally another elimination. So
Judge is the judge, so never mind. And the Spectre as well. And here comes the play with that judge. Shut down though. And TSM, they open up with a 5v4 here in the lobby.
Yeah, the trickery has been immediately countered. And the thing about this is there's never a commitment to bring the spike necessarily into B. This was mostly a play to get the ultimate orb collected, and that's tallied, and then immediately you back up, and it's actually forced the Seekers out. So in terms of efficiency, not only do you deal with the first elimination, you force out a pretty important ultimate that Cloud9 White really don't get much off of. You know they're in B garage, so that really doesn't give you much besides a delay, which you didn't really even need.
The issue here as well with the defenders is they have to do something, and they are. They're actually taking control. They've understood that. Oh, they're actually rotating off right now because there's nothing in B main. We just cleared it, and they might be able to catch this push as it's coming up mid. In fact, there are 2 players. This is actually a difficult setup. They're going to try to go through ropes, and Annie's unable to find any value, and that's going to have a clean path now into the A side. TSM have managed to avoid any trips along the way.
Very polished execution here from TSM. So now it's just down to Jazz. 1v5. Leah, red and dealt with, but it comes at a pretty steep cost. Jazz left on essentially what is 1 HP at this point in time from any weapon. And that'll be enough for her to say, all right, You guys take this one. I'll just go ahead and back off and try to hold this weapon.
So now it's a question as to whether TSM can start to really take control on this attacking side. Again, we mentioned it previously. In the last face-off between these two teams, TSM didn't have too much trouble on the attacking side. They managed to get 6 rounds. And they've got a really good start here, coming off the back of that, winning that second round force buy after losing the pistol. Doing a good job, and they survive with 4 players here, so the money starts to build.
And find a way to open up some kills. There is still kill potential in the mix, then maybe pull off another Thrifty.
And we talked about Annie previously. A bit scary there. See the Trailblazer chasing her around, so that setup's being blown up. Very dangerous round here for TSM. This is a critical round to pick up, obviously, to really cement that momentum. And there's danger around every corner. You got the Shorty there and Anidro. There's a Judge and Katsumi sitting up there in male, and you've got Jazzykins, obviously, with the Vandal towards the B-Heaven position as well. And TSM moving into a mid clearance.
No information here whatsoever on who's positioned around this mid area. Not just, by the way, in male, but also over towards vents. It's largely trademarks that are playing defense, though, at the moment. And as there's shoulders from Jazz, Katsumi's just playing essentially counter flash position, but it never really actually comes into play. But the slowing field in combination with the paint shells leads to an elimination. And Jazz says, let me go one step further. Re-earns the paint shells with the double. The showstopper confirming it. And they know they've got Athena completely isolated on site, but the problem is Jazz was tagged down low, and we've got ourselves a 3v2.
Ooh, the big kill there on Tamel. That's going to allow a clean path towards that A side for the plant. And he drove in a 1 versus 3, lurking through the ropes position. Her position, I think, is completely unknown at this point. And Athena is very far away. So this is, for all intents and purposes, a 1 versus 2. Viper's Pit goes down in the 3 versus 1. So really, really badly wanting to make sure this doesn't go wrong. And he's waiting to see if there's anything that might be given here. But they can just play in the pit, and they don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
Katsumi's coming in at a good timing now as well. Oh, sorry, Athena. And there we go, 4-2.
As you would expect, the weapon advantage for TSM just a bit too steep. So Cloud9 White can make it expensive, but still the advantage is pretty good. And now, all of a sudden, TSM need to find a way to get some early reads over what's happening at mid. This has been a different look almost every single round for Cloud9 White as far as how they want to defend mid. And it all has been off of the back end of just essentially walking forward with a variety of different looks. This time it's Mel with a scope.
Yeah, they think they might be going up against a Vandal there because they've been hearing that from ropes. And
yeah,
they feed into Mel, but she doesn't connect. That's very important, of course, for TSM's chances. TSM actually have a huge ultimate advantage in terms of site takes. They've got the Showstopper and they've got the Seekers available. So those will be enormously important to gain control if they want to use them for that purpose. But they don't have mid control. Okay, there go the Seekers. That's going to give them some information. I'm going to walk through B-main at the same time as they get Mel's attention on this position up mid. She's been distracted, and now comes the rest of TSM through B-main to make their way forward into sight.
But the spike's not here, Dan. The spike's not anywhere near this at the moment, so there's an opportunity where Cloud9 White could still defend against this. Mel is able to get a pick over through the backside of dirt. So sure, the spike is down, but the defenders of Cloud9 are absolutely already here. The problem is, how do you deal with this 3v4 situation, needing to get a lot of clearance and only having a Judge on Jazz? It's difficult, but still doable.
And it's looking like a pretty good look so far. Annie coming through to make things look a little bit different. And Jazzy as well chiming in a 2 versus 2. Suddenly the pressure is on here. Emily delivering though, and that leaves very little for Jazzykins to do.
This is that same round 1 wall defensively for Cloud9 White, and if you're TSM, mentally you have a little bit of PTSD about it. So this time you make the smart play. Guiding light just to check. But even with that, it does not stop Annie from continuing to play forward. So more utility is pulled out. And as this is a read, the wall should go back up, and then you have help to get out. But no, Annie does not actually have, I think, the gas to get the wall back up. And the counter flash out of Alexis never actually gets there in time. So a free kill for TSM. Yeah,
that's really a great adjustment from TSM. Like you say, it's so much variance challenging that directly, so they use the util to clear it out. And that spots Mel, so they get the info that Mel's backside. I mean, it hasn't forced a TP just yet. Of course, Mel is able to TP back to spawn. after the first shot. Okay, able to stay alive, still has more shots ready, but Dodonut now on the angle. Game of reactions here. Dodonut's angle is actually slightly better if Mel is to try to peek into that. Mel's gonna be forced to shoot that as well. So the problem here is that there's a lot of time being bought by Mel. But with that said, no rotation at all from Cloud9 White.
Yeah, there's a lot of trust that Mel can get out of his position. Not gonna happen. I was just about to say, I don't know if there was one successful rendezvous out of danger from Mel on Haven. Maybe one that we may have missed off camera or something, but that is just a position that Mel cannot afford to fall in. TSM in a huge advantage looking over the top of this B site.
That's beautiful as well because, you know, Kath was in a close position and Dodonut just shot to suggest to Mel that there was an opening for her to move, and obviously Kath was able to just shut it down. So nice little call out there between Kath and Dodonut to kind of shut down.
26 and 10, I think is what we said at the beginning of this. On the last time these two teams had played, and Leah on the other side, I think was at like 12 and 8. It's just been a complete role reversal here on this map between these two teams, running the same compositions. 12 and 5, pardon me.